Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the XLOOKUP tool in Google Sheets to merge data using a unique identifier such as a student ID number. Here in this spreadsheet, we have some sample data. In column A, we have unique student ID numbers. We have last name in column B, first name in column C, school, grade, and then some placeholders for ELA and math assessments for fall, winter, and spring. Our goal for today is to take data in this extract tab, which has ID numbers and scores for the assessments, and merge that data into this sheet here so that all of the correct corresponding data is in the right spot. Now, what we're going to do is, again, use the unique ID number, and a quick example would be we're going to look up this ID number for this one student, and let's say we want to find the ELA score for fall. So we're going to write a formula in this cell here, and the basic walkthrough is we're going to look up this one ID number, 40035, and we're going to look that up in this entire column. So we're scanning down this list until we find 40035. Once we find that match, we're going to determine which corresponding value in each of or any of these columns is going to be returned back into this blue cell here. Now, right now it seems simple because 40035 is the same first number and these are all in the same order. So first we're going to write the formula so that we can see the data right in front of us, and then we'll scramble the data and verify that it's still correct. And what I will also do is I'm going to color this blue as well, just so we can follow the information that we need. So what we're going to do is click in the cell where we want the value to end up. We will start our formula with an equal sign like all formulas, and then we will start typing XLOOKUP. Once we see it, we can click on XLOOKUP, and now we get a little helper window that tells us the various parts of the formula that we need. If you don't see this helper window, it may have been closed out. You can click on the little blue question mark to have that window pop up. Additionally, there's an arrow here for additional details that you can either expand or collapse depending on your preference. So the first thing we need is the search key. This is the one ID number that we're going to look up. So right now we will click on this one ID number. You'll notice the orange A2 corresponds to the orange outline in cell A2, and then I can click comma to look at the next entry in my formula. This is now the lookup range. So I have a single ID number. Where do I want to look that value up and find a match? We don't want to look in the current sheet because we already know where it is. It's right here in front of us. So we want to switch to the extract tab while this formula is open. When we switch over, we'll notice the formula is still floating here for reference. And we now are going to choose column A, and we want to click on the A so we choose the entire column. Because right now, although 40035 is the first value, that will not always be the case. So we want to tell the formula, look for that value anywhere in column A from top to bottom and keep scanning until you find a match. Now we will click comma to move to the next part of the formula, which is the result range. So once the formula finds a match on that ID number, which of these columns next to it do we want to return back as the value? In this first example, we will return back ELA fall. So I'm going to click on column B. When you're doing this, you should notice the notation A:A, meaning the whole column, B:B. If you click on an individual cell or range, you'll notice it looks different. You want to have the entire column selected. I'm going to hit comma one more time. And the last thing that I like to include, even though it's optional, indicated by these square brackets, is what happens if the value is missing, meaning it doesn't find a match. Normally it will show a nasty looking error which is a little unsavory for a spreadsheet. So what I like to do is put an open quotation and then a closed quotation with nothing in between, which tells the formula, if you don't find a match, leave the cell blank. Now that I'm done, I already see a preview that the answer will be 88, and I can click enter on the keyboard. This formula now found a match, and it returned the value of 88. If I wanted to copy this down for everybody, I'm going to remove this blue highlighting for now. If I wanted to copy this formula down, I can use this little blue autofill handle and drag this formula down, and it will adjust the formula for all values and even ask me at some point if I want to autofill it for the entire column. And if I hit yes, that formula is now done for every single student. If we look at any of these formulas, so this first one here, if I look up here, we'll notice that A2 is the value we're looking up, and then the other two parts of the formula stay the same. Column A is where we look it up, column B is what we want back. If I hit escape and I look at the next cell, you'll notice it automatically changed to A3, because now for this spot we want to look up this ID number, so on and so forth. If I go to row 10, the formula has adjusted to A10. So we write the formula for one student. We pretend we're only looking up this first student. We make the formula correct, and then we can copy it down for everybody. Even if I rearrange this data here, so if I add some filters and maybe we'll sort the scores from low to high. We still have this data down here. Notice that first score was an 88. This is still returning a value of 88, even though it's in a different order. It's scanning and finding the ID number, and it will return the match accordingly. So let's now write the same formula for ELA Winter. Again, we'll start with an equal sign, start typing XLOOKUP, and click on it to open the formula. The search key, again, is the ID number for this one student. Put a comma on the keyboard. The lookup range, where are we scanning for that value? That's over in the Extract tab. We will click on column A. Notice A:A, comma. The result now is going to be ELA Winter, and we should be wanting a value of 83 back, which the preview is telling us already. And then we will put comma, and then double quotes, close the parentheses, and click enter. Again, we have the proper value. And another quick trick is if you have data in the column to the left, rather than dragging this blue dot down, you can simply double click it, and it will send that data down all the way to the bottom, as long as there are no gaps in the data to the column next to it. So we can repeat this process a few more times just for good measure. We'll do it a little faster this time. Equals XLOOKUP, ID number, comma, student ID number is where we're looking it up, and we now want ELA Spring, double quotes, and double click to send it down. This process can be repeated for math, but one thing that I want to note before we finish, because we can just repeat this process over and over, is once these values are here, while we see values in the cells themselves, if you look up at the formula bar, you'll notice that underneath that value of 88, there is still a formula. If I double click on the cell, I'll also see that formula here. Click escape to get away. You want to be careful leaving data like this, especially if you end up deleting that extract or that helper data that you used. So if I go and delete this sheet here, you'll notice all of my formulas break. We can see the formula is still there, but it's not working because it's saying unresolved sheet name extract. It's looking to that other sheet. So there's still a connection here from the data to its original location. It's still trying to look back. And that's why this formula broke, because that data is no longer in the spreadsheet. So if I undo that to bring this data back, the way around that is we are going to highlight these columns, any of the columns or data that have formulas in them. We can also tell that there's formulas there if we go to View and Show Formulas. We can see underneath there are formulas here. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight these, copy the values, and we're going to paste them right in the same spot, but we're going to paste the values only. What this does is it replaces the formulas with actual hard-coded numbers. So now if I double-click on a cell, it's as if I manually typed each of these numbers and there's no more formulas here. If I go back to Show Formulas, you'll notice there are no formulas here. So that's a great way to make sure that your data will be uninterrupted when we eventually delete this extract sheet. Now my data is unaffected. I hope this video helped. You can merge in all sorts of data, and this is incredibly helpful to save time and to ensure accuracy. You just want to be sure that you have a unique identifier, such as a student ID number, an email address that's unique, to make sure that you're getting the right data. If you try to use student names, even if it's last name, comma, first name, or first name, last name with a space, you just have to be mindful that spelling changes can affect the formula. Additional spaces, even after the name, like that, will affect the formula. If students have a single versus two last names in different data sources, hyphens or dashes, all of those things matter. So names are typically not a great unique value to look up on. So again, an ID number or any other unique value, state ID, email address, etc., are great to merge data in as long as you have it in your original data source and the one that you're trying to merge in. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.